Good morning. Sorry about my last attempt at a video. I was talking about a very interesting subject, dealing with polyphasic sleeping. I will make the video again, and we'll upload it or we'll share it with a select few friends. The video this morning is going to be, because I forgot to turn the mic on in the last and I actually woke up with this on because I was testing it on that tablet. I'm going to do my diabetic test this morning, and I want to show y'all how I do it because a lot of people do it a little differently. As you can see, I went to my restroom or wherever you go. Make sure that you've washed your hands or you've sanitized your hands to your best of ability. Sometimes you have got to test in emergency situations, and that's why we'll use a little alcohol swab. I do have a bottle of alcohol diluted spritz. A lot of times I'll just kind of spray the area, that I'm doing the testing in, just to make sure things are nice and sanitary. Okay, so I simply open my strips in my little kit, right? And I always try to, I always replace this needle, the lancet, I always replace it before and after I test, but a lot of times, because I don't know if, sometimes I can't remember if I did it, so I'll go ahead and pull this off. I'll take this one out, setting it on a surface where I can get to it. I'll grab a new one, the lancet. I'll pop that off. I'll put that into the machine. And I know this is clean because I've alcoholed it. If you haven't alcoholed it, just take the alcohol swab and hit it there if you're concerned about germs on your own tester. I'm not, but I'm the scientist in me makes me, kind of make sure there's no microbials. So then I take this before I cock my machine, before I cock the little testing pen. And a lot of times I will take it out, but a lot of times I just leave it right in there and just prop it up on the edge of my thing. And I put this strip in there. Your prodigy meter is on. Please wait. And she'll talk to me. It's like a little droid. Then I'll cock this back, and then you adjust this to your calluses or your construction workers or people that work a lot will have to go all the way down. And people like me have to pretty much go all the way up because I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of work in the yard too, so. And then, see, that shows you I'm in because I don't have a poke. So I'll have to put a little more pressure on them. When you feel that little sting, you know that you've gotten enough blood. Testing. And you take a very minute amount of blood. Blood glucose 6.7. That's an A1C reading. Okay, so I want to show you all the difference between them. Now I go ahead and I set this on, either you can put it on your rag or make sure you cap that particular lancet that you used. You capped it with your strip and you've disposed of that into a Sharpie container that you've made yourself. One of the best things to use is an old medication bottle. If you can find one of these and put it has a child locking cap on here, and you can take the medication strip off. So you've gotten rid of your thing off there. And what I usually do is I take my alcohol spritz the hand and wipe the towel or the cloth that I use to do my testing on. So that way my finger has had enough time to heal, and there is no more lymph or blood or whatever on my finger because it's already healed. And that's why if anyone's ever met me, they can see sometimes I have some pretty rough looking fingertips because there are times that I have to test quite often when I'm trying to get my sugar under control. Now, the reason I'm going to show you how I do my testing, we're 6 minutes in, I don't want to make it too long. One of the reasons is because there is a question about what does A1C machines, or when you test it and it shows the A1C level, sometimes during the day the A1C can fluctuate. Well, of course it can, because your sugar fluctuates. Why wouldn't your A1C? So when we're testing it, when doctors are sending you in for an A1C test, they want to see a true average. That's what the A1C gives us. But if you're not knowledgeable enough to know the difference, and that is an A1C level, and it can fluctuate throughout the day depending on your food, that would mean that you're eating pretty unhealthy and that you probably need to get your sugars under control. Your intake of sugar, like processed sugar, granulated sugar, packaged foods that have sugar in them, processed sugar, natural sugars as well. And there's a big controversy in the diabetic community because a lot of people, well, as long as I eat natural fruit, it's not been canned or not been processed, I should be able to eat. No, that's not true. If you have an excess of natural sugars, where your body thereby creates a higher glycemic index or number, you're still going to have problems with your diabetic mellitus. Now, it is true that when people have diabetes type 1, which is 100% insulin dependent, we have to be very careful with our diet if a person is in that condition. Luckily, I don't have diabetes type 1. I still have a pretty functional pancreas. And most people with diabetes mellitus type 2, diabetes type 2 or diabetes mellitus, they have a functional pancreas still. They should be grateful because through diet and exercise alone, they can pretty much reverse their diabetes, which reverse or control into stasis or stop it from being a diseasing or chronic condition. That's debatable. A lot of people are like, is that curing it or is that just putting in full stop in the body? Well, if you have diabetes mellitus 2, most likely it was caused by either neglect of your diet from someone who was supposed to be feeding you, and or a residual effect of having some trauma in your past and not eating properly due to emotional stress or trauma. I definitely overate. I've said that in previous videos. It was my responsibility not to do that. And so that's my video today on the Javid Vapes Now channel, which is an 18-up channel. So I absolutely would ask that people honor that and be respectful of it. If you're watching this video and you are 18 years of age, I appreciate your viewing, and hopefully you learned something from it today about diabetes and about testing and about the different machines that do the A1C level and the different machines that do the speaking of which, let's go ahead and I think I have my other tester right here close by. Yeah, No. Well, my next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called a double-blind test, a double-sided test. So I'm going to do the A1C machine that tells you the A1C level, and then I'm going to do the other machine that actually tells you the glucose level. And we'll compare the two so you'll understand the mathematical difference between A1C and that its milliliters are micrograms per decimal. So we'll do that one tomorrow or later this evening, because I usually test twice a day and sometimes 3 times a day if I'm not eating properly. Javid Vapes now saying peace out. God bless you all. I hope you have a terrific weekend.